Tonight on the Cooligans, we are discussing the return of the Premier League, the introduction of James Rodriguez to Everton Football Club, and of course, next up, Jack Harrison scoring his first goal in the Premier League. Let's go.
That's right. Plus, we talked to Pablo Maurer about a story he did about my dad, Diego Maradona, playing in Toronto, the greatest Canadian player of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, that and more today on the Cooligans! Yeah, baby!
Vamos! Let's go!
Come on,
all right.
You got to duck out a little bit. I know how to turn that wrist.
Okay, well, I don't even know what that. Alexa, you ever been in a fight? I don't know.
Son, don't you know how to throw a real punch? You got to turn the wrist.
Okay, look at that flick of the wrist. All right, everybody.
Look, eventually we get to soccer on this show. It's a little bit about fighting stances.
Yeah, don't ask me about fight. I've never been in a fight. So, okay. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Cooligans. My name is Christian Polanco.
That's right. I'm Alexis Cobra Kai Guerrero.
Okay. We're your favorite martial artist, okay? That hosts the funniest soccer show on television.
It's not just that. It's also the Cobra Kaiist, and it's also the gulliest.
Correct. Yeah, you know, it's weird. Cobra Kai has been on YouTube TV for like months. And
ain't nobody watching that.
Nobody watched it. Nobody had YouTube TV. No. What are you talking about?
It's like 6 people.
And then it's on Netflix, and it's like, yo, have you heard of this Cobra Kai show?
This thing's pretty good. Some of the references seem dated. Like they're not talking about the pandemic at all.
Yes, welcome to the show. Obviously, we're gonna recap Cobra Kai. That's why we do this program. That's
We've
why the
shifted.
TV show.
We've pivoted to Cobra Kai reaction.
You thought we were gonna, talk about how exciting the Premier League was, the first round of matches, the first weekend. No. Slow down, buddy.
Christian's going to take all the jerseys down from behind him. We're going to put on our gis. And we're about to go step for step, punch for punch through this entire episode.
Yes. So look, let's no. You know what? We're kidding. We're comedians and we joke around a lot. But let's
Thank you for clarifying that, because at least two people were like, "This isn't what I signed up for." I'm gonna unsubscribe.
I signed up for a FuboTV subscription, but for the wrong reasons, clearly. So look, the Premier League started up this weekend, right? Mm-hmm. And oh boy, we didn't know what teams would look like. We didn't know who was staying, who was going, and
everything still seems like in flux. Like contracts aren't announced, and who knows? Mesut Ozil's still on Arsenal. How's that even possible? There's so many things that none of it feels like you're moving into a house, but the paint isn't dry yet. You're like, all right, put everything wherever you want. Don't touch the walls.
It's strange, just because we didn't have the usual long break. There's no preseason. This is the preseason right now. Yeah. Well, it's just like it's preseason, but everybody is ready and in match fitness, right?
It was 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks, and they're like, look, all right, everyone go to Ibiza. Get coronavirus, get it out of your system, and then come back. And the only people who listened were all of PSG.
Yeah, who was it? Because we know it was Neymar tested positive.
Positive. I think Di Maria. Did Mbappe also?
Yeah, Mbappe tested positive. Man. Okay, hopefully he can just run away from it. He's
I'm
fast,
surprised it wasn't so fast. A droplet travels how far? I got that. Ain't nothing.
You ain't catching me. COVID-19.
Mbappe, you need to be 6 feet. How'd you get 6 feet while I was saying the sentence?
So let's go. Premier League matches did begin, and obviously you see me rocking the Everton kit.
I'm also an Everton fan this week. Thank you so much.
They played against Tottenham. Woo. Boy, hottest team in the league.
You know what I wish? I wish Tottenham would have played against Everton, because they did not. They showed up and they did a kickabout. I think they still think it's it's preseason.
I don't want to. Don't do all that, because you're not putting enough respect on the Toffees or the Toffeteros, as we have mentioned in the past. The Jordan Pickford had a bunch of great saves. Defensively,
Jordan Pickford was a magician. I don't know how know. It's because he knows all these players from playing in England. He's like, Harry Kane, I know what you're going to do. Dele Alli, don't even get me started.
No, he had a good game, a couple really, really huge saves. But no, we have to talk about James Rodriguez. His first match in the Premier League, looking clean. I don't think he even broke a sweat. He was having a good time out there.
I was talking all types of trash about how he was going to be slow and he hadn't played a meaningful minutes and whatever. He came in, he was like, Ancelotti, the usual? You want me to do what I always do, or you want me to take it easy?
You want scrambled or mix it up? What you need?
Everybody out of the way. I know how Anchi takes it. I got you, Papa. It was amazing.
He played a great. He was the regista. All right, he did his job. When you mentioned you just said, oh, I thought he was going to be slow. He was quite slow, but that's not what you don't need him to be fast. Okay?
No, but he was reading the game. He was only slow because he knows he already saw those episodes of Cobra Kai. He knows what's gonna happen. You know,
he knows the move. He knows what you're gonna do before you even do it.
He's doing that thing where your friend watched this movie already because they're like, yo, watch this, and you're like, stop it. My eyes are on it. I'm watching it. You can stop telling me something's gonna happen.
Man. Look, as an Everton fan, it is just after like the last couple years, at least 2-3 years, to have a player that just has a little bit of vision. Okay?
Can I just say something? You have a midfielder that is passing forward. How does that feel?
Bro, what is it? Christmas already? What is it? Damn. I feel like it's Boxing Day already.
Damn, son.
Okay, I feel like a peasant and the king is giving me some gifts, okay?
Right? They just dropped off a turkey to your hut.
Oh, thank you. You know what?
I mean,
I don't have running water or electricity, but this turkey is lovely.
Also, the dysentery is setting in, and I think I'm dying soon. But thank you for this uncooked turkey and me having no means to cook it.
Yes. You know what? You're welcome for the history of Boxing Day by the Cooligans.
So, but I'm pretty sure those are facts. By the way, it seems like Arsenal won twice this weekend because Tottenham lost and Arsenal bodied the competition, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal did play quite well. What was they won 3-0 obviously against Fulham.
Come on,
Fulham, they're still in the championship. They're not ready yet.
We both got clean sheets, son. Like we did the laundry, my dude.
Okay, and we have to, before we go to commercial break, we have to discuss Jack Harrison, Leeds playing against Liverpool, and starting the Premier League. Did Jack Harrison? He didn't get the first goal of the Premier League season, but to be amongst the conversation with the Aubameyangs, the Salahs, with just great goals.
Are you kidding me? An NYCFC product got his first goal with Leeds in the Premier League against the champion. That script right there,
bro,
done. That's a movie.
Okay, and in that movie, it starts off when we name the burger after it.
Facts.
Okay, all right. So we'll be right back talking some more prems and some more news right after this. Diego Maradona was the Antonio Cromartie before Antonio Cromartie. Right?
Antonio Cromartie's favorite soccer player right here, Diego Maradona.
Okay, clearly footballers have a lot in common, right?
Doesn't matter, different sport. Similar CTE.
And the C stands for cocaine.
Yeah.
So, but this kind of behavior is just absurd. But when you watch the documentary, you understand. And it really, honestly, the documentarians must have had to
do a little cocaine just to get the feeling. You know what I mean?
No, they must have gone through some footage and data and found stuff out. But we're like,
you can't put that in.
Well, we can't put it in. We're not sure.
There's not enough time to talk about these 10 other children.
We don't have 14 other documentaries to make with the HBO doesn't have that large a budget.
Right. That's the new Game of Thrones.
But
the Game of Cribs.
It's just, but the Sergio Aguero's wife is
his daughter.
Is Diego Maradona's daughter.
Okay.
One of them that he claimed.
One of the obvious. Like, no, I was there when he was born.
Oh, you married Sergio Aguero? Yeah, you're my daughter.
Yeah, you're my daughter now. You know what? He's my son.
Welcome back to the Cooligans Living Room FC, and make sure to stick around. Later in the show, we will be joined by Pablo Maurer of The Athletic, talking about a great article, new piece that he has that just written. So make sure you check it out.
It's about my dad.
It's about Alexis's dad. Yes, it's a hard-hitting piece. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about what happened in the Prem this weekend. Let's focus on Leeds for a second, because we did talk about. We're very happy for Jack Harrison, one of the homies, scoring it. I mean, and an incredible goal too. It wasn't even. It was just unreal.
No, he was chopping up defenders. It's not even like it actually went in. It was like, no, homie, I'm gonna make this happen. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you look comfy out there. Honestly, it felt like one of those, like, maybe Jurgen Klopp sees this goal and he's like, oh, okay, who's this young man? Do I need him on my squad?
Right. Maybe I should buy this young man who just destroyed my back line.
So, but the other thing that happened after the match, this was a crazy match. It was going back and forth. The fact that Leeds, two kind of just dumb penalties is pretty much why they lost this game. But 100%. They could have very much won this game.
When they were first coming in the interview, Bielsa said, like, we're going to play our style. We're not going to do anything different. To start with, he was like, shit may change in the Premier League. All right, this might not work, but for right now, we're going to go full steam ahead with his insanity looking style of pressing and players running all over the place.
Yeah.
And oh my God, was it entertaining?
Yeah, the effort was there. The energy was there. I did not expect Leeds to be so competitive against Liverpool, but they just looked great.
The adrenaline was clearly there of being like their first match in the Premier League.
And I want to focus on the post-match, the press conference, not even a press conference, just the interview after the match. Where they wheel
out like the step and repeat, the see-through step and repeat on the pitch.
And Bielsa does not speak English, especially on camera.
He does, but he doesn't have the grasp of it completely. Where I would say, where he feels comfortable having an interview in it.
Yeah, and then you deal with a little bit of the criticism or xenophobic kind of comments of like, why hasn't he learned English? You see that from a lot of the English media or pundits or whatever. Yeah. It's
England, learn to pronounce the X in sixth, and then we'll talk.
Yeah. So look, we've had this conversation a whole bunch. Just enough. Hopefully, people stop it. But whatever. But the fascinating thing was that his translator. He has a translator who's Colombian, by the way. You could hear the accent clearly.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, and but Bielsa does this great thing where he wants to convey the emotion and what he's saying, so he wants it translated in the same sort of tone.
He's like, don't translate the words, translate the emotion, because at one point the translator goes to answer the question, and I don't want to say he's meek, but he's very respectful of the situation, and he's giving you like a very monotone response, and Bielsa turns over and he goes, "Hey, say it with your chest."
Yeah.
He's like, yo, fam, put some emotion in it. You're not reading a poem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is a cool thing, which shows that he is clearly passionate about his job, and this is the circumstance.
Every detail is important to him.
Yeah, he doesn't want to speak poorly and something be misconstrued or his accent be the thing that people are talking about in the news. He doesn't want to be made fun of. He is a professional and he wants to get it very clear. Yeah. This is what I'm trying to say. You are translating. All right. So
I want the dude to be like throwing his hands like, "Que coño, tú sabes lo que está pasando aquí." It'd be great. we got more. In fact, we got Pablo Maurer from The Athletic when we get back after this. Baby, we're back in the Cooligans living room, FC. Now, Christian, some people don't like international football, right? And I think the reason for that is, and I said it that way because we're talking about Europe. I think the reason for that is because you don't get the excitement, you don't get the drama, you don't get the tea. You know what I mean? You don't get the shade. England took care of that, though, right?
Yeah, right? Really, page 6 is really letting us down by not covering these stories.
Yeah, dude, it should be like page zone 6 for the spot on the soccer field. Like, Harry Maguire goes out. He's fighting cops. He's bribing cops in Turkey or in Greece. Right?
All alleged, but you know what? But
not alleged.
These are the headlines.
He got found guilty, my G.
Oh, did
he? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But was the appeal or whatever? Okay, we'll get to
apparently
that
in Greece, if you appeal, it takes away the previous guilty verdict. Which genius, right? And I've said this before. I have no idea why you're fighting this dude. Go home. You're not getting jail. Just when you get there, be like, it's all corrupt over there, you know? Do whatever you want. But then everyone thought, like, all right, so he's not on the team. That allows Jack Grealish to get in. Everything's great in Camp Southgate. And then they go to Iceland, right? Yeah. And Phil Foden and Mason Greenwood, who I believe are both making their England senior team debut.
Right,
I
yeah,
believe.
and these are at the UEFA Nations League.
At the Nations League. They're playing Iceland. Country's got 380,000 people, right? Mm-hmm. You can't get in too much trouble, right? I looked this up. In 2017, they had just under 180,000 women in the entire country. So you can't possibly get in trouble here. You just go, you play a quick game of footy, probably a lot of snow, and you go home. Mason Greenwood and Phil Foden were like, hold up, I got a plan. Now, the only reason we know this is because they were outed by two women. They paid, supposedly, this is all alleged, they allegedly paid a hotel worker to sneak two girls in, and those girls was ready with the Snapchat.
When we say outed, I don't think they did this on purpose. They were just like, hey, we're hooking up, we're going to meet up with these two footballers and whatever. And that's already enough, right? Because these two guys are very, very famous.
Here's the problem, though. One of these women is an international beauty queen from the, stories. Okay. So she's probably followed by quite a few people.
Alexis, you call every woman that. Stop.
I know. Again, Christian's an international beauty queen. My mother is an international beauty queen. No, like, she legitimately is like kind of Instagram famous, or I guess Snapchat famous in this case. So if you're going, and apparently Mason Greenwood has a lady and a kid at home who were like, oh, what's happening on the internet? I mean, first of all, shouts to these guys for finding two women in Iceland who don't already have.
The Icelandic men have a lot of trouble doing that.
Right? There's Icelandic footballers going, come on.
we don't even have any enough to go around.
Right. It's not fair. But they found two women. They did everything from, I guess, although now I'm hearing this is a different woman that he was kicking it to on the phone. Yeah. And he's like, he's throwing game at this girl, but someone is recording her on speakerphone. I mean, this is better. This is better than London, Scotland Yard. You know what I mean?
So look, obviously the penalty here, and the reason they cannot do this is obviously for all
great use of a pun penalty. Very nice.
They were sent home. They were sent home and kicked off the from international duty because COVID is the pandemic is real, and you cannot they take these precautions, and they take them very seriously. As a professional athlete, they are going they're traveling the world, they're putting themselves at risk, they're putting others at risk, so they take all these precautions so that we can watch them play some footy, right?
Yeah, and like if Gareth Southgate calls you and I in, right? And be like, yo, you broke COVID rules. You can't be like, but we smashed, though. Like,
yo, wrap it up, bro. What's going on?
Southgate's like, yo, you scoring when we ain't even playing, my G. Put that in the stats. No. Like, yo, you can't risk the life of all of these soccer players just because you wanted to get some strange. That's not fair.
We're not being, poo-pooing or being too critical of the quote unquote infidelity, whatever.
No, if there was no COVID rules, do your thing, do whatever you want. Yeah.
You got your family problems, you deal with that. It's none of our business.
I gotta feel Southgate kicking you out is the least of your problems when you get home, Mr. Greenwood. I would think of maybe an apology stop at the flower shop on the way home, my G.
Imagine Southgate just going to the locker and throwing all the jerseys and clothes out the window.
Yeah, ask him. Southgate's like, ask him who called him when he wasn't in the first
team. He knows what he did, okay?
I'm going to my mother's. Why are you going to your mother's, Southgate?
Gareth, I feel like you're overreacting. Anyway, look, this is, you can follow this story on Twitter. You can see all there's a big back and forth. There was an apology from the women. One of the women is saying, she's like, I didn't know that Phil. I mean, she's like,
I deleted it all too late, though.
Yeah, dude. And it's like, look, even if there was no pandemic, this stuff would still go out. But the reason people are more upset is because obviously the players are they are taking those risks. And the bigger news is that they got kicked off the squad. Right?
Yeah, I like this little kind of bad boy era of English soccer, though.
Is it?
Yo, Harry Maguire's, but ACAB in Greece. These dudes is smashing on the internet. I mean,
but they know better, man. It's like it's like. Are
you kidding me? Pickford's gonna start an OnlyFans. This is gonna get wild, dog.
It's just it's the bad boy, the digital age bad boy. Okay?
Yeah, they're not on your dad's websites.
It's so easy to avoid. You just like it just impedes their growth and figuring out what they do in their professional careers. And look, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, it was much easier to be a piece of shit and be a player and do whatever
you could be as scummy as you want. It took the newspapers like 7 weeks to figure it out.
Okay, you're still using carrier pigeons back then, right?
It was wild. Do faxes and Morse code and all that.
I mean, it's just this is a thing that professional athletes just have to be more mindful of and be more careful of with everything going on. So, look, find
you some girls that don't have Snapchat followers in the six figures.
What's the rule in comedy? The rule is if you're dating somebody with a headshot, that's a problem. Okay,
that is the rule.
You can't be dating anybody.
You messed up.
Okay, we'll be back with more Living Room FC after this. Welcome back to the Cooligans Living Room FC. Let's get into some Major League Soccer news because there's been a lot going on.
Yeah.
First off, New York Red Bulls.
Speaking of breakups, they pulled a Mason Greenwood's girlfriend right here.
New York Red Bulls have sacked their coach, Chris Armas. I think coming to probably a bit of a shock to a lot of Red Bulls fans. I think some are.
I don't think
quite
so.
happy. I think some are quite happy about this as well. But the Rebels have not been getting the results. They didn't make it into the knockout rounds in the MLS's back tournament, and but there also have been people making the case like the Rebels did not give him a proper team. They didn't replace the players that they really needed to. They didn't get DPs, so he didn't have too much to work with.
Yeah, I mean, I can't completely fault them for the results, right? Like, it's not exactly his fault when you take ingredients out of the kitchen and the new chef can't cook as well as the old one. It's like, well, I mean, you really didn't give him enough to work with. That said, when Jesse Marsch leaves and he walks in, the team didn't play the same. You know what I mean?
But they still played pretty well. They still played pretty well. They won the Supporter Shield with him. They've done okay.
But I think what you notice is like a little bit of the edge was gone. There was something missing, and then the next season it just continued to carry over, and it seemed to have gotten less and less sort of. I mean, the Rebels were never an incredible team. They were a team that always played much bigger than they actually were, and for that to not continue, it seems like Marsch could do better with this club than he can. And that's sort of, I think that's still lingering. And I know they got this new guy, Thelwell, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, who seems to be getting some pieces in. I think the issue was, it's like, let's not go out and do all the shopping and let this guy mess it up. And that's sort of how it felt. But really, this is bad for us because this is a Caribbean soccer legend, right? He's Puerto Rican and Cuban, and he's from Long Island. I mean, he sounds like he speaks with marbles in his mouth when he talks. You know what I mean? This is one of us.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's unfortunate. I think he probably got a bad end of the deal here. I think this was.
I don't think so. I think he got a lot more time than even. I think COVID extended his career, to be completely honest.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I think these firings during this during this pandemic are a little strange because of how all these different factors and unexpected things that have happened. It's difficult to judge coaches the same way. I think people are still adapting. So whatever, but that's my opinion. Let's move on to a couple other things in LA Galaxy. All right, so LA Galaxy, this MLS, these first round of matches, there's a lot of derbies. It's like every week there's a derby, right? They just play each other. But
in Canada, for sure, they're just like, are we playing you again?
So LA Galaxy and LAFC at Tráfico, LA Galaxy wins their most recent match, the last two matches, and they've been playing well. Sebastian Lletget has been balling. Christian Pavon's been playing great.
Pavon is incredible looking.
It's great to see. Look, I think Landon Donovan being on our show and really kind of calling out LA Galaxy, all of a sudden things are changing. I don't know. Did the Cooligans are responsible for all this? You're welcome, LA Galaxy
unless
fans.
We're the ones who injured Atuesta. No.
Correct. But this was pretty incredible. After the LA Galaxy win, they post on their social media a video of Mark Anthony Kaye, obviously midfielder for LAFC, and Max Bredos, been up, friend of the show, friend of
the damn show,
been on our show, great dude.
The head of media, or I believe he's the head of media over there.
Yeah, and he is basically it's Mark Anthony Kaye and Max Bredos congratulating LAFC and being very specific.
Congratulations, Jonathan and David on the big win,
and Joe on the big win, and all this stuff. We're like, what is it? Why would they make a video congratulating LA Galaxy on this way? And then you put two and two together, and
they got coaxed into this via their cameos.
Because Cameo, obviously the website to get celebrities to do like shout out videos and stuff like that. Mark Anthony Kaye and Max Bredos are on there, and I'm sure somebody pretending to be some like probably parent of a kid who plays on a soccer team.
These 3 kids, they love you guys. Oh my god!
And they used they edited this video together, and it is basically
stone cold. This is probably the best trolling in MLS history. No,
this is pretty good. This is a good use of this app. Cameo, without
and put some respect on LA Galaxy's name for their media department, because remember they did that shooting stars meme. That kind of opened the door to a lot of this, because they got in trouble by LA Galaxy, but then it was blowing up on the internet, so they were like, "What are we doing? Why are we getting people in trouble? Y'all should do more of this." All right, we got trolling allocation money. We'll figure out a different acronym for it.
So, but this was pretty incredible. If you haven't seen it, it's on. We retweeted it. It's on LA Galaxy's social media. But bro, this was just so funny, and even
LAFC fans are like, "We got." I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, they're winning. They're winning convincingly, and even without Chicharito, with both teams are missing pieces and things like that. But they're doing it on the pitch, and you know what? They can talk smack.
Yeah, I wonder what Bob Bradley thinks of this. He's confused by the whole thing. He's like, "What exactly is Cameo?"
Mark, why'd you do this to us?
Don't talk into your phone ever again. Get back on the field. We need double practices. Come back after this, because we got Pablo Maurer of The Athletic. All right, baby, and we're back on the Cooligans Living Room FC. And I mean, this is... right? We talk about just a revolving door of stars, okay? It doesn't get bigger than this. I mean, this dude writes for, The Athletic?
Not The Athletic, just The Athletic.
Just what The Athletic is, it's a whole other thing that you got to go through World Star to find it.
No, but when it comes to not only big stories in American soccer, in soccer in general, it's much more specific. I don't want to even necessarily say niche, because it's bigger than that.
It's hard to explain exactly what it is. It's like stories you didn't know you wanted to know about,
exactly.
But you really need to know about. You know what I mean? And how impressive is it that he does all this while hanging out in abandoned buildings in the Catskills? I mean, that's really impressive. The Wi-Fi is Where does he get it?
The drones. It's incredible. There's a man of many trades. But yes, please introduce our guest, Alexis.
We've talked to him before. We absolutely love him. Good friend of the show. One of the best writers on The Athletic, and also on What The Athletic. Ladies and gentlemen, unless you're driving a very old car that is half car, half pickup, pull to the side and put your hands together for the one, the only mechanic to answer my texts. Ladies and gentlemen, Pablo Maurer.
Pablo, what's up, man?
Thank you. Just coping with that introduction. I appreciate it. I'm not sure what to make of it. My stories are niche. They're total BS, and I'm barely a real soccer journalist. So I appreciate all this. Thank you.
What? Well, you pass all the requirements of being on this show.
That's perfect. Yeah. I mean, when we have someone on, we're like, you better not be a journalist, dude. We want no facts on this show.
Lamestream media. We don't need them. Okay. Pablo, you are here to talk about a specific story that we got a sneak peek on. That you were
which everyone's already seen by now.
Well, exactly.
By the time this airs, everyone's seen.
We're airing
so
before the piece drops on The Athletic. Yeah. Make sure if you're not a subscriber to The Athletic, make sure you are, so you can guarantee that you see this piece. But it is a piece on Diego Maradona. We've seen dozens of these, hundreds of these for years. Obviously, a legendary player, but this one is a
documentaries. There's so many documentaries. I've just watched Diego Maradona in Mexico. I'm not watching documentaries about him in specific countries. It's not even about his life.
Yeah. So please tell us a little bit about the piece that you wrote recently for The Athletic on Diego Maradona.
All right. Well, we all know the story of Diego Maradona and Napoli. We know the story of Maradona with Boca Juniors, Barcelona, the Argentine national team. We know the story of Diego Maradona in the club at 3 a.m. or whatever. Yeah. What you've never read is the story of Diego Maradona signing for one game with a team, a very small minor league soccer team in Toronto, Canada. Toronto, Italia. That's one you've never heard before.
The greatest player to ever play in Canada is Diego Maradona.
I got Diro in line 2 here. He says you're disrespecting his legacy. So.
Alfonso Davies is texting me. What's up with
this? It gets weirder. So here's how this came about. I originally set out to this story. I just had a very simple thought. I thought in 1996 when MLS was formed, Maradona was sort of at the tail end of his career, and I wanted to find out, hey, did any MLS team take a run at this guy and try and sign him? Because that to me would have been, can you imagine Maradona with the Miami Fusion in 1996 or something like that?
Just fighting Valderrama.
Yeah, exactly. So
Pibe versus Pibe.
Yeah. I actually ended up talking to Sunil Gulati, who was involved in the former U.S. Soccer Federation president, who was involved in sort of the founding of MLS, and he said, we actually couldn't because he wasn't legally allowed to enter the United States because I guess the U.S. government, because of his failed drug test at the '94 World Cup, it was not, he was sort of persona non grata. So
I didn't know the U.S. government were squares, dude.
Yeah, I know, man. Yeah, we've been trying to keep the best soccer out of this country for years.
Yeah, dude.
Does he want to kick for the Jets?
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, during that sort of research, I found a GeoCities page from 1997. If you kids remember what those are. It's just old website, text-based.
Angel Fire. Okay, yeah. we all have one.
It's like free Squarespace. Anyone watching the show.
Exactly. And it was just, very brief description of this game he played in Toronto. So obviously I completely fell down a rabbit hole on it. And my interest was really piqued when I found out that Maradona has 2 brothers, Lalo and Raul. And Lalo, his youngest brother, played for Toronto Italia. So Diego Maradona came to Toronto in September of 1996 and played in midfield alongside his brother at a tiny stadium in a minor league league in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I mean, it's absolutely wild. His brother Hugo, who we won't talk about anymore. This is so random. He played in Austria. He played in Japan, and now apparently he owns a bakery in Florida.
Hey!
So if you want some pastries from Diego Maradona's middle brother,
Dude,
Like,
that is Alexis's life dream. If that was the arc of his life, he would have totally preferred that.
Can I just say, we've joked on this show before that Diego Maradona has illegitimate children in Cuba, and that I don't know my dad, so he might be my father.
There you go.
Yo, honestly, there's a chance I come from this bloodline if the guy owns a bakery in Florida. Is it South Florida?
One of my favorite photos of Diego is like him in the late 90s sitting on a bench with Castro, and he's pulling his pant leg up and showing Castro a Che Guevara tattoo. I was just like, just all this confluence of weird.
Okay, so maybe he isn't, you know?
So this is it is pretty wild in general. And you sent us a couple clips that people are seeing right now of not only.
I didn't even mention the tape.
Yeah, the tape is just unbelievable. So
thank God that there's footage of this, because I'd assume minor league soccer in 1996 wasn't televised in Canada.
Yeah. They didn't know ESPN Plus deal, you know.
There is. Yeah, how did you get this footage? Because I know that you had mentioned that initially there was a thought that there's no footage of this game even existed.
Yeah, I mean, I found probably 2 press photographs of the game through Getty, and
how did they even get that?
I mean, when you watch the tape, you see there's hundreds of photographers there, and so I don't even know like how, you know, I reached out to all these photographers, to the Toronto Star, to local there are a couple of Italian language publications in Toronto, which has a huge Italian population. Nobody had photographs. Finally, when I started talking to these players, they were like, you know, they sent me some behind the scenes kind of locker room photographs. And then just it'd be 2 weeks ago now, one of the team members who I interviewed, I get a cold text from him, and it just says, "Hey man, you know, I hadn't been over to my parents' house like 6 months because of COVID. But I just went over last week," and then the next text is just a photo of VHS cassette that says Diego Maradona versus CNSL All-Stars. So I was like, fam, you got to put that in a FedEx mailer immediately. Because the guys, I don't even have a VCR, and I was like, I got a VCR, I got a AD box, I can make this, I can put this on YouTube for your children. So
you're like, I have a VCR in my car.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So he sent it to me, and I was shocked because I put the tape in expecting just to see sort of footage of the game, which that alone would have been gold. And the whole first hour of the video is, you know, like you can see, it's sort of like handheld, shaky camcorder footage in the locker room as these like Canadian kids are like, oh, I got to pinch myself. I can't believe I'm playing with Diego Maradona. You know, Maradona's just laying face down, consuming every inch of the training table, signing autographs, and it's just wild, man. It's totally wild.
Yeah. Look, there's so much more to talk about. So we'll get more into this tape and this game with Diego Maradona right after this. Welcome back to the Cooligans Living Room FC. We are here with Pablo Maurer of The Athletic, and we are discussing the incredible piece that you just wrote, for The Athletic on Diego Maradona, right? And his time in Canada.
It just sounds stupid. I'm sorry. It doesn't even sound real.
The Canadian legend, Diego Maradona. The one thing I really loved about watching just some of this footage was, obviously, Diego Maradona is just such a global superstar. He was for a very long time, arriving in Canada. But playing in this game, people are literally losing their minds. This stadium looks like it is a high school stadium, and it is filled to the brim with so many people. How many
They also went and got a tango, 2 tango dancers to entertain the before the game.
Is there any information on why that was the case? Who thought this was a good idea to have people do tango before a soccer game?
As you know, I get way into these stories, so I tried to find the tango dancers, but I did at least get the story behind it, which is that, and it's very simple. The owner of Toronto Italia is this. He's 88 now. His name's Louis Fiocola. He is the caricature of an old Italian dude. Basically, he's incredible. Yeah. You know, I called him. His wife answers the phone. Screamed 8 or 9 times for him to get on the phone. You know what I mean? He said, like, yeah, you know, his brother Lalo told me that I mean, he's never created, but his brother Lalo told me, Diego loves women. And so I got these tango dancers purely to entertain Diego. And so Louis is like, he was like, you should have seen them. He was, he loved the tango dancers. It was so apparently mission accomplished, but it was just that simple. But in watching the video, it's like the most random, stupid thing in the entire world.
Imagine you're in a 4,000, 5,000 seat stadium, and you have about half of that capacity are photographers, and you're asking them to move so two people could dance on a field that has football lines on it, so Diego Maradona can stare at a woman. I mean, if I told you that happened in Canada, you wouldn't believe me.
I just thought of a potential headline. What if I spelled Diego with like EH exclamation point, like A? Like correct? Yeah. Diego? All right. I'm going to just jump out the window now. Sorry. Yeah.
I just want everyone to know, I didn't text them that. That was Pablo.
That was
all by himself.
I feel like you're absolving yourself from that joke more than saying
100%.
Yeah.
But look, you come on this show to shoot your shot. All right?
Yeah, there you go.
We appreciate it.
Nobody's watching, right? I mean, nobody's going to hear this. So,
I heard it bang off the backboard. So
exactly, clang.
Yeah.
But just the simple fact, like it seems like there was it wasn't a plan of like he's going to sign with the team and they're going to be here for years. It was just like this one-time event,
like a promotional stint, right?
A spectacle.
Yeah.
And they did everything. It was a circus, right? I mean, he was just so famous. And I think you had mentioned that the stadium was the capacity was something like 4,000, but there were about 8,000 people there.
Yeah, it was 6,000 and 8,000, and it really was a circus. They were billing it to us. So the backstory kind of behind his arrival. I mean, he had returned after a 15-month ban after the failed drug test of the World Cup to Boca Juniors. Had a really tumultuous stint there. He had just missed 5 consecutive penalty kicks, over a few games, and he quit the team. He told the press in Argentina, there are people screaming at me saying that I'm like fat and I'm a junkie, and nobody has a right to make my daughters cry when they're walking down the street. So he just bounced, and then turned out he bounced to Switzerland for 10 days to go to a rehab clinic. So he arrived in Canada literally the day after he gets out of the rehab clinic. He comes to Toronto and stays with his brother I think he was there for 10 days, and plays in this game. But the CNSL in Toronto Italia, they billed it as his last game ever because he was talking about retiring. Yeah. So they were like, this is Diego Maradona's farewell match, right? It's real. Like even Maradona, I have a video of the press conference he gives when he arrives in Toronto. Someone's like, this is your last match. And he's like, I don't know about that. I have offers from, with Maradona, there's never any shortage of people suiting him because he's like a traveling circus and he's going to sell tickets wherever he goes, So even he was like, well, I don't, we'll see. But maybe, but it might be my last match. You know what I mean? Like
the owners in the back spitting out a prosciutto sandwich.
Exactly.
Whoa, we printed up billboards.
Yeah. Would it kill you not to just talk right now?
No, hey, whoa, cut him off. Give him a little white.
Yeah, exactly.
But overall, I felt like he looked pretty good. I mean, far as like looking at like a healthy dude, I mean, you wouldn't really tell that.
I'm going to be real with you. I'm convinced he was clean at least then, and the teammates I talked to, they were all very. I mean, it's no secret, man. Diego has struggled with a cocaine addiction his entire life and still does. Obviously, if you just said you watched the Mexico documentary, I'm sure it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I think. All of the teammates, I spoke to 6 people who played with him that night, and they were all like, look, man, if he was like on drugs, I had no idea. He was just like, but then they were also like, he was always up and full of energy and so positive. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. He had a lot of great ideas at halftime.
Exactly. Like, what we should do is I should coach the Canadian national team. I should do that.
He told me I should sign with Boca, so I don't know. I think it's clean.
Yeah, exactly.
And clear-headed.
So I mean, I do think he was, albeit briefly, in a good place. Less than a month later, he got stuck in an elevator in a hotel in Mallorca in Spain, emerged for 20 minutes, emerged from the elevator and smashed the entire hotel lobby to pieces, like throwing ashtrays. He smashed. So, I mean, obviously by then maybe he was back on the sauce. You know?
Yeah. The rage had come back through him. Did you get a chance to speak to any of the players that played against him?
I didn't. You've exposed one of my reporting flaws. I didn't think to do that until like last week, and by then I was just like had so much stuff that it was like. You know, it would seem like it would be extra, you know, but
just because I saw one guy foul him real hard, and I'm like, I want to talk to that guy who was like, "Oh, Diego's coming at me. I got one move, buddy."
I mean, they like a lot of the players on Toronto Italia said, yeah, man, they were bodying the dude. You know, I mean, they have no, you know, but what do you care about Diego Maradona if you're like, you know, you're not even on the same team. Your one chance to be remembered is like, I shredded Diego Maradona's ACL or something like that. You know, like,
Remember when he broke his ankle in Canada?
Yeah,
that was me, kid. Enjoy your Moose Tracks chocolate.
Right. Yeah. So no. But I appreciate you calling me out, calling my bad reporting out. You know, that's why I came here. You know,
I spoke to some of your coworkers and they told me to say that. So
really, Sam, Paul, who was it?
It was it seemed like a pretty good game though, right? Because the CNSL All-Stars, they did score. I don't know if they were up. I don't know the score line itself, but it seemed like they were taking it pretty seriously. So that at the very least was pretty impressive. I
mean, one thing I don't know if it's on the tape or not. Maradona scores the equalizing goal. So Toronto Italia goes down 1-0, and then Maradona ties the game in the second half on an Olympico directly from a corner kick.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, this just adds to that. You know, I'm reading this on a GeoCities site. Like, that didn't happen. None of this happened at all.
It does sound like fan fiction. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll give a shout out to one. There's like a Canadian soccer historian who has a website, and this is the website I was on. Is this guy calls himself Rocket Robin, and you know, it's one of those things where like North American, and you know this as well as I do. You're talking maybe to one of them, but like North American soccer is full of just like the strangest people in the entire world. Yeah. You talk to them and you're like, this guy's a little touched in some way. I have no idea what it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just like. So he was, without him, I mean, there'd be like no evidence of the game whatsoever. Without his work,
the Geocities to keeping that up, though. I mean, why are they even still paying for the servers at Geocities?
Exactly.
We got more with Pablo Maurer. We get back after this.
Okay, thank you so much to Pablo Maurer of The Athletic for joining us. We appreciate you, man. It's always nice to share Diego stories, you know, just chop it up about Diego. We appreciate it. So Pablo, where can people find the story, and where can people find you and more of your work?
Story on The Athletic. If you don't subscribe to The Athletic, please do. We just hit 1 million subscribers yesterday.
Hey, congrats.
Which is, thank you. I'm at MLSist on Twitter, so go there if you want. Alexis, do you have any upcoming stand-up gigs you want to get a plug in for real quick? Or?
Yeah, I'm going to be performing at an abandoned pool.
Yeah, exactly.
In the Poconos.
Right. Live on Periscope.
Yeah, catch me at the COVID Cove in Pennsylvania.
It's heart-shaped hospital beds. They're great.
It's gonna be good. So everybody, make sure you follow us at Soccer Cooligans on all social media platforms. Follow at Fubo Sports as well on all social media platforms as well. And subscribe to the Fubo Sports YouTube channel for full episodes of our program. Yep. So, Pablo, let us end the show the way we normally do, with the enthusiasm and the energy that you regularly bring to every TV appearance. So with that said, for Pablo Maurer, my name is Christian Polanco.
I'm Alexis Guerreros.
And together, what are we?
The Cooligans!
Yes!